Mm-hmm.
Big.
I'm just trying to load.
And then one of them came over and looked in his window and knocked and in his car. And I was just like, "Okay, what are we doing? You know when you put a gun in the car, you know, tell them you're not supposed to go and look past my gun.
All right, at 6 o'clock, I'll ask everyone to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. We just have 4 council members tonight, obviously, with everybody in the field. This is an understanding every fall, so I appreciate the 4 of you that were able to make it. First item of business tonight is the the citizens forum. If there's any individuals from the community that would like to address the council, now would be the time to do so. So Kathy, if you want to step up to the microphone that I got on the edge there and introduce yourself and tell us what you want to talk about.
Hi, my name is Kathy Savari, maiden name Wagner. Longtime Ada person, I guess you could say. And I've been in the healthcare industry for 43 years and have covered many different aspects of healthcare, primarily elder care, assisted living, long-term care, all of those types of things rolled into one. Retired the first. So, but I guess I'm still working because this last month in August, we decided to move my mother-in-law into the assisted living in Ada, the Mission Court. And we moved her in September 1st. And over the process, as of August 31st, if you want to look, there is on the Benedictine News that we no longer have an assisted living in Ada. And I'm not sure if a lot of the people in Ada know that, or even, I don't know why you would know it if you weren't looking for care for your parents. 10 years ago, the community got together, did a large fundraising to build Mission Court, which opened 10 years ago. And nothing has changed since that day that people got together and decided to raise $2 million in this community to build that Mission Court. There's a gap. There was a gap then, there's a gap now. We have an elderly population that depend on assisted living in the community. Sorry, I'm not used to public speaking. In this, the population of those over 85 is growing dramatically. 10 years ago, same thing today. Those baby boomers, 65 and over, are hitting the age where they need services. Most of these individuals rely on their spouses or family members for that care. But as we all know, a lot of people don't have that network in place anymore, or that, where the family members are here. So that's where assisted living came in. That's where the money raising came in. Anybody going into assisted living in those, what it was made for was for the people that couldn't live independently. If they could live independently, then they could. When they came to that time when they can't, when they needed just eyes on them even, or just a community. We have a lot of seniors living independently in their homes, and that need somebody, that need an eye on them, that need community, that need to eat their meals together, need church, all of those things that Mission Court at that time offered. Fast forward to the 31st of August, we no longer have assisted living in our community. We now have independent living, which means apartment with meals and weekly transportation and housekeeping. That's independent living. And I personally, my mother's in town, 92 years old. We have a lot of elderly people that we all know of in this town. And I don't know who needs to go into a community. A monthly rate of, the lowest right now is $2,688 for an apartment. So, I don't know who needs to go into an independent living apartment for that amount, for free food. It seems kind of ridiculous. We do have independent living. It's called Summerfield. It's called, I can't think of what it is. Valley, thank you. Those are, if you look up, those are considered independent living. And rooms are nowhere that amount, nowhere close to that amount. So my concern is, as the people cannot move into this because there's no need to, they'll move into Summerfield, they'll move someplace else, and we're gonna have an empty building. All that Ada fought for is going to be gone. Because I don't know what the tipping point is, how many empty rooms they're gonna have before they're gonna say it's not sustainable. And that's a big concern of mine, that in this process, with Ada being the people that raised the money and put this together, and in the process they weren't communicated with, as far as, hey guys, we got to do something different. The Benedictines right now say they can't keep up with the staffing. There hasn't been any staffing changes. I looked in the Minnesota statutes. Staffing is the same as it was 2 years ago. So I'm not sure where that staffing, we all know it's harder to get people. We all know that.
Staffing meaning having.
Somebody
RNs
in the building.
in the building, not CNAs and stuff like that. We all know that that's tough to get. But as
This
far
is
as
staffing.
regulations for an RN,
Yeah, there hasn't been any staffing changes in 2 years. So when they said new regulations, there aren't any new regulations that would warrant this. Anyway, I just have some really grave concerns. Part of, again, if you look in the marketing, part of having Mission Court in this town was to keep our people here, was to keep our elderly and our community here. And now what? There's assisted living in Fargo, there's assisted living in Twin Valley, which is going to drive our people from here, when they're looking for more care. And so I guess I just wanted to bring this forward to the people of Ada and the citizens of Ada in regards to this decision made by the Benedictines. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Kathy, have you talked to their board?
I have no idea who's on their board.
Okay, I'll see if I can get a list of who's on their board. The city doesn't own the
Yep.
assistant living, it's all Benedictine. So we have nothing to do with regulating that. They, over there, or,
Yep.
anything to do with their licensing and their changing of
Yep,
the status of this. But it would definitely, reaching out to, because their headquarters is in Duluth.
I believe they're in Duluth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so maybe the communication is not getting up there. I don't know.
I have a
But-
feeling it is,
Okay,
Okay.
because we did get a call,
okay,
and basically it is what it is.
okay.
But I'm just concerned just how it all rolled out.
Mhm.
And I understand the city doesn't own it, the city hasn't owned it since it opened.
Okay.
Another, just another item is, they were given 10 years of tax, not having to pay taxes.
Yeah.
That 10 years is up.
Mhm.
So then we're gonna roll in that, into it, So, I tried to, I tried to be undivided when I researched this, because of course I have a personal interest in it. And we're kinda stuck right now. But, also I just really wanted to bring attention, that we were told the statutes had changed, and we were told the staffing and these other things, and really not given any opportunities to brainstorm or express or do anything, so. just to let people of Ada know that there's no longer assisted living that we fought for. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
I'll say a couple of things, just, I don't know if there's anyone that's jumped on Facebook yet, but,
People.
you know, Kathy, you and I and Reed and I, we've talked a couple times here in the last week or so. Just for the community's portion of it, again, I don't think there is a lot of people that have known or do know what's transpired out there unless you have someone directly impacted by it like you guys have. I know, for instance, Summerfield is a $900 rent per month compared to the $2,600 minimum out at Benedictine. And again, the main portion of that is just meals. Well, you can buy a lot of meals for that difference. And that's where some of this conflict is coming outside of the hands-on assisted living portion. So I know of you individuals, and I know of a couple other individuals that have donated a very good sum of money back when this project started, that have reached out to the board and have had zero
Okay.
feedback. I guess I would say everyone needs to keep trying. Maybe this conversation tonight will bring a little light to some individuals that had no idea that it's shut down, to get a little bit more feedback, because again, some of those loud voices go a long way sometimes. So,
And I know it wasn't just people, businesses also.
yeah,
Many of the businesses supported this,
yeah.
and it affects them also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you guys. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. We got a change to letter D, the city accounts payable in the amount of $28,602.01. Again, 28,602.01. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, I get a motion from Casey,
Second.
second from Scott Erickson. All in favor? All opposed, motion passes. Moving on to the agenda, I just have one thing under mayor's report. I gotta do some committee appointments. So I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Okay, a motion from Eric,
Second.
second from Casey, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Trap team donation request.
I don't think
Oh.
anyone made it from the track team.
Okay, so we got an email.
Yes, and I got a letter here I could pass around. Part of the reason is they had football till 6, so I don't know if they'll get over here, but we definitely supported this last year as well, if you guys remember. But they have a mixed stag fundraiser, the Ada Borat West track team. It's Saturday, November 18th. They're selling tickets. They're raising funds because the program itself is not under the school. They raise all their own money for it, to help with traveling, equipment, things like that. So they're asking for a donation in the amount of our event donation, which is $500 towards this.
Make motion to approve that for $500.
Okay, and a motion from Casey,
Second.
second from Scott Erickson, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. And, Billy Rush, Eagle Scout Project. You wanna come up to the microphone and introduce yourself as well?
Hello, everybody. My name is Billy Rush. I'm a Boy Scout here in Ada, working towards my Eagle Scout project. And I can hand out the papers here that describe it really quick.
Thank you.
Thanks.
For my Eagle Scout project, I've decided that what I'm going to do is design and construct 2 signs here in Ada. The first one being at Westside Park, which is going to be a 39-inch sign, 39 inches tall by 10 feet long, and it's going to cost $480. And then the Bosworth Park sign, 4 feet tall by 8 feet long, which is going to cost $1,231. And what both the signs are going to be is I'm working through a constructor that is Todd Signpost. He works in, I forgot exactly where he works out of, But in the past, my oldest brother Tommy had Eagle Scout project where he had 3 signs, all on the entrances of Ada, describing the churches, Ada churches, and it's through the same dealer who's building my signs. And what the signs are going to be made out of is a aluminum composite material. So it's going to be a really good material, which is aluminum coating with polyurethane inside, so it's going to be really high quality. And they're both going to be printed and then laminated. You can see the pictures on the back. And with the Bosworth Park sign, the part where it says Bosworth Park is going to be 3-dimensional, so you can see the letters a lot better. It's going to make it look a lot nicer when you drive by. It really catches your eye how it pops out a little bit, and that's a really good effect with Bosworth Park sign. And then the materials are listed below with all the prices. And the total price for both the sign structure material is going to be $303. And then the electrical, with all the electrical supplies, wire, conduit, electrical boxes, breakers, and miscellaneous hardware, LED lights, is going to be $826. And then if you can look on the back, you can see that the Bosworth Park sign, and then to the left of that there's that rock, and behind the rock there's that flagpole there. And that flagpole and the rock was actually an Eagle Scout project, I think in 1965. I'm not exactly sure who, but on the rock there's that plaque there that says donated from the Bosworth family, and describes a little bit about the park and how it was donated. And there used to be a flag on that flagpole, but it was actually taken down a few years ago, probably at least like 10 years ago, because there wasn't 24-hour lighting, so you had to raise it and bring it down every single day, and then it also was getting caught in that tree. So what my plan is I'm gonna run wire from the shelter at Bosworth Park, which is behind the sign, about 160 feet. So there's actually an electrical box by the shelter that I can run conduit to underground, and then rent a trencher from somebody locally, and then I can run 12-2 wire to the rock, and then I can have 3 lights on the rock, one facing the flag at one angle, another light facing the flag at a different angle, and then a light facing the sign. So then it'll be lit 24 hours, so we can leave the flag up. And when you drive into town, you'll see a nice, beautiful flag that really represents how our town wants to look. And it is going to be really a beautiful thing to see if we put a flag on that, have it 24 hours. And then with the flagpole, the one that's there now is, I'm pretty sure it's 25 feet tall. It might be 30 feet tall. But the flagpole was put up in the 60s, and it's looking pretty old, and we could definitely make it look a lot nicer if we purchase a new one, because the one that's there now, the flagpole is on a really nice base into concrete with a separate pole coming up connecting to the flagpole. So what my plan is to take down that flagpole, and then my goal is to buy a 30-foot flagpole and then put a 5 feet by 8 feet flag, which would cost $2,290. And it would be a really nice, high quality flagpole that would hold that flag and look really nice. So the total cost would come out to $1,835 for the signs, electrical lighting $826. The flagpole range would be $300 to $2,290. At $300 being if I would have used the same pole with purchasing new hardware to go onto that. But my actual goal is to purchase a new flagpole and a new flag, which would be $2,290. So the total project cost goal would be $4,951. So why I came here today is to explain this project and ask the city council for a donation of $500, and possibly if you would be kind enough to donate more if you're willing to do that too.
I know that this has gone through the beautification committee, and I believe the beautification committee is looking at trying to allocate some of their next year's capital outlay, but they get $10,000 a year to spend. I don't know what you guys, Josh isn't here yet, but just so you know, that Bosworth sign has been something that the beautification committee has looked at changing for a while anyways. And currently there is no sign at West Side Park. So I do know that it's been discussed in the beautification, and I do know Brianna might, as long as beautification agrees, allocate some of that capital outlay on top of whatever the council decides to donate to you tonight.
Where are we sitting at in the gambling fund? As we're coming up on the end of the year?
Like 6,900.
6,900. You know, just the value of what this project is, and it's probably something the city should have been looking at, you know, prior going into this. I think it's pertinent to go with the 500 plus another 500 for 1,000 total. I'd like to go ahead and make the motion to donate 1,000 total to this Eagle Scout project.
Okay, I had a motion from Casey
I'll second.
and a second from Scott Norquist in the amount of $1,000. Any comments, questions, concerns for Billy? Awesome presentation.
Thank
All
you.
in favor?
I
All opposed? Motion passes. Alright. Brandon, you're up.
The Twins just won, if anyone cares.
Did they?
They
Yeah.
did good.
So
I was curious.
I was really excited to come and talk to you. That
You were
was
watching
just
back
fun.
there, weren't you?
Yeah. So, got a couple things for you today. I left my paper copy on my desk.
I have a paper copy if you want it.
Perfect. Just because I'll need some signatures on stuff. So first thing with the sanitary sewer project construction update at the last meeting, which was only like 2 weeks ago. We're just working through punch list stuff. Really, the only major thing left on the punch list is there's a couple of short liners they need to install on the reline blocks. It's like $1,000 worth of work. Yeah, it's not a ton, just something that they got to get on the schedule to come back and do. Other than that, they're pretty much buttoned up there. In the last month, they had able to get an asphalt crew to come in and do those last asphalt patches, clean up stuff, and so we're currently working through final completion type things on that. With those asphalt patches, so as part of change order 3 on the project, we added some open cut areas as part of that change order, and then with the asphalt patching, we had some back and forth talking with Brian about maybe doing it next year, or doing it this year, you know, being as it was that additional, you know, having to have a crew come back in. With that back and forth, decided to just get it done this year. Contractor actually got a pretty good price, so that change order for $13,671, that's the total price for the patches. That doesn't account for original bid price. That, you know, if it would have cost about $8,000 to do those under the original bid price. So this is actually an additional of about $6,000 to have them come back in and finish those patches. So, so overall adds about $5,000-6,000 to the project. Still about 25 to 30 under total budget, and really this is it. I mean, at this point, this pay app that we have pays out those patches, pays out retainage down to just to cover those last little liners, and then next month hopefully I'll have a final pay app and we can close the project out. But that's kind of the change order, that's the pay app, and let's see,
Your invoice.
and then our invoice are kind of the 3 items on that. But does anyone have any questions about with change order? I do like to run those through the Public Works Committee. However, with the quick turnaround, and I had thought your meeting was next week, I wasn't able to square that away. But this is something I've had a bunch of back and forth with Brian on. So, and it's pretty straightforward. So.
Any questions for Brandon? Otherwise, I need a motion for the change order, payment number 8, and the invoice for more engineering.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion from Eric. Second from Scott Erickson. Any further discussion? Just for public knowledge, that was change order number 4 in the amount of $13,671. Payment number 8 in the amount of $24,424.34. And then Brandon's bill of $4,000, right?
Yep.
Okay, and motion from Eric, second from Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and then the second thing I have is last month, I had brought up the LRIP funding, for West Main. And kind of the consensus was, is there anything else we can throw on that list? Did some looking this month, also talked to Norman County, cause there's a highway loop in town as well, 4th and 4th. And so looking at that, talking to different people, for this particular funding source and kind of what they're looking for, we really couldn't find anything that would be kind of more advantageous for this particular type of funding. So that West Main is probably still, if you want to move forward with putting something on there and you want to move forward with that, that would kind of be the only one we'd put on there at this point in time. But with talking with Norman County, if we wanted to look at that 4th and 4th loop, it's something that, you know, is been kind of on their list, and I know Keith, the county engineer, said he's had some conversations with the city, but if the city would want to do that, not necessarily tomorrow, but if the city would want to do that, or, you know, get that road repaved, that's something we can open up some dialogue on in the future, but it wouldn't be as part of the LRIP funding.
It would not be.
So, you know, turning over the stones, didn't really find anything else that we'd want to go after this with, and so do you want to proceed with West Main, or do we want to hold off at this point, I guess would be. I mean, that road's in pretty rough shape. And I don't think the need of the road is really the question. That road's in pretty rough shape. It's the how many people are serviced by it, and just the cost of repairing basically a mile-long stretch of road there for however many.
Well, yeah, and just for reference, for everybody's reminder from last month, it is basically just from Summerfield out to the dump.
Yeah. The biggest amount of traffic is truck traffic between the two businesses out on there.
Yep.
It's a lot of semi-traffic, a lot of grain trucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of the wear and tear is coming from. We can go ahead and move forward with pursuing the funding, but we're not committed into anything, correct, at this point, if we were to do that, or is this,
There'd be a little effort on our part,
Yep.
just to update the estimate. And that'd be we just keep track of our time. We can talk about it when we're done. It's not gonna be more than, you know, probably $2,000, if even that. But it would be just, if it's something you would get put on the list and then they go through it. And so if it's something, you're not obligated to do the project, but you gotta be on the list if you wanted to do it. So that's where, they come out with it every 2 years. We put you on the last time, but I think there were just some other things, you know, we had a sewer project just went forward, so some other such things. So ultimately, it's your guys' decision, whatever you wanna do, and
We don't need a motion, but yeah, we don't.
just some guidances.
Just guidance, if you guys want them just to look at it again, it's gonna cost us $2,000. It's
I would like to see
couple
it.
grand anyway.
I would like to see it go ahead, I guess. That road is rough, to say the least, when you have to pull over on the side of the road to let people pass by so you don't have to drive through the broken up asphalt.
Well, just to catch me up a little bit, is that a total, the grant covers the whole thing, or is there a city cost to that, or
There's a local share.
there's local, what is
Yep.
that local share?
I'd have to look to see.
That's okay, I mean, no, not too.
I'll send you an email. I'll send an email to Ashley tomorrow what that breakdown would be.
It's at least a quarter.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
time, and I don't know, I mean, when we did the road last time, we assessed it, but this is a replacement of a road, so we'll have to go back to our assessment policy and see when that road was put in, but, last time, you know, Dan went back to the state and got us more, but it was an $830,000 project and we got $650,000.
Okay.
And that's for the new road that goes in our industrial park out there, so.
And I guess the conversation and argument last month was the same as it'll be when Brandon brings us the numbers next time, is the amount of usage by the actual city itself. I mean, it's going to the two businesses, 3, the compost, and a duckway out of town, basically. Otherwise, it's how much money do we wanna spend or bond for, or use out of our long-term capital for a road that's not really within city limits, but it is. But again, I think, I'm with Casey, again, I think for $2,000 or
It's a,
up to $5,000, let's say, let's give them at least the leisure to move forward and at least see what we get out of it.
Yeah, and if anyone from the funding agency is watching, it's a very important road that
Very important.
very important road
Yeah.
that connect. That's a major thoroughfare to connect people into the center of the city. Can't overstate how important it is
Yeah.
and how degraded the road currently is. Just want that.
Well, I think we can all agree it's an awful condition.
Yes, yes.
It is.
And getting to the pet waste and the compost is very important for
Yes.
the community citizens of Ada.
Yep, and it's a main route out of town.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
if that's something, again, some guidance, if you want me to move forward with that, it's something I can get working on, and I'll send you an email tomorrow with kind of what the proposed funding breakdown. It's until they hand you the check, you're always just saying, hey, this is what they're saying, and this is what
Sure.
we're anticipating. But I can
Yeah.
can send you something like that tomorrow. So.
I think everyone's in agreement, Brandon.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Anything else for me then?
Much.
Okay.
Should be good?
Thanks, guys. And then I'll grab signatures
Yeah.
after the
Very
meeting.
good.
Or if you got them,
Yep.
I'll grab them right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, department heads and committees, mayor's report. I completely forgot to do this last month, so I apologize. Obviously with, Josh resigning and Eric Ness taking over his position, I need to appoint a new member to the planning and zoning and the beautification committee. And I thought, being it's only fair that Josh was on those two, to, assign Eric to those as well. So unless one of you wants to join your second, third, and or fourth committee, I need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, a motion from Casey,
Second.
second from Scott Erickson, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thanks, Eric.
Anytime.
The planning and zoning doesn't meet.
They don't
much.
meet, yeah, they don't meet.
Only when there's something needed.
Yeah.
And it's been about a year, at least a year, I think,
Yeah.
since then.
And then I'll have Brianna reach out for you for
Perfect.
the
She's
beautification, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
administrator clerk treasurer's report.
Department updates, a couple things. The Deco Center, she's still working on the hot tub bids. She doesn't have anything on, but she does have some scheduled, businesses to come in actually and take a look. So Associated Pools and I believe Pool and Spa guys out of Holly are gonna come in. Other than that, everything else is running great right now. Classes are up and running, swimming lessons are going great. Volleyball is gonna start soon, so the school's been really using it lately a lot too, which is awesome to see. They were out using the volleyball courts today too. Public Works, Brian is on vacation the next 2 weeks. If you guys need to get a hold of him, Neil is kind of appointed as in charge right now. He is in Greece and Italy, so he probably is not going to answer right away. However, he did change his phone plan, so he's able to make calls there. But the big thing that they're working on this week is winterizing all the parks, the wading pool, the baseball fields, and everything like that. And then they're going to be draining the wastewater ponds as well. It will not affect anybody in Ada. It goes out to the ditches, and they work with the watershed district on that. So those will be the big things there. And if you guys remember, we did hire a new public works member last meeting. He did go and he passed his CDL test, so that's on the books, and we're hoping he'll be starting here right after weed season. Liquor store, couple things. So eventually we're gonna have to revisit this ice machine topic. Right now, the company has still left the cooler there, and we are getting ice from Ralph's. So when their distributor comes in, we buy it off their distributor. Jerry and her team, or if Public Works has time, they go over there, pick it up, bring it back to the liquor store. So right now the cooler that we have in there is our old distributors. They have not come and picked it up yet. They will, we don't know when. So we have to decide, is it worth us buying a cooler, or a freezer? Is it worth us selling? What do we wanna do? You don't have to decide that today, but I just wanna let you know that's on the discussion here for the near future. So just for you guys know, in 2022, we made a $1,200 profit in ice. So for 12 months, $100 a month. May through September of this year, 2023, we made $650. Usually it's the summer months that are pretty busy, some of those holidays. So it's something that I just want to keep on your radar. that, do we wanna spend, $6, $7, $8,000 on a freezer for a profit, a small profit? I understand it's an inconvenience for some of our shoppers. So anyways, as of now, until they take that freezer from us, we'll continue to operate how we've been operating. When that's gone, we will have some bigger discussions.
Should
There's also 3 other businesses in town that sell 3 or 4 businesses.
Yeah,
actually,
I don't
so.
think we make enough a profit to
Yeah.
justify purchasing, a freezer. And even when you talk about the manpower of like going over there and picking up the ice, so she has contacted many distributors. Right now, there's just not truck drivers. So, for how much ice we purchase from a distributor, they don't have the time to drop it off with us.
Yep.
So yeah, she's reached out. So tomorrow, her and I are going to an MMBA meeting in Bagley. It's all the regional municipalities. We will kind of maybe talk to them, see if they have any ideas. But my suggestion would be, if that happens, then we just don't sell ice. But anyways, for as far as profit goes, in the month of September, we had a $16,238 profit, which is up from a $14,804 profit from last year. So, and the sales were up we're at 57,490. Last year they were 53,370. So they had a really good month there. That's all I got on departments.
Okay, moving on to Kaleidoscope Guest September, Casey and Scott Norquist.
I feel like we're just.
Yeah, we were just on last month.
That's
Oh,
'cause it
it
does
says
say
7th
September.
September.
Who would like to do it Thursday?
I think there's 2 options now.
Eric Ness and Scott Erickson.
It depends on if I'm lifting beats or not, I guess.
Yeah, but if I'm in town, I'm not in town.
I can do it this one. I can do
Ashley
it.
will do Kaleidoscope Thursday.
I can do it.
Ashley.
Okay.
You guys,
I can join you possibly. So.
okay. Let me know.
Well, and I might be able to too, actually.
Okay.
Okay.
That's Thursday, right? Oh,
I believe so.
Yeah, I think
I'll ask
I
Jim.
talked to Burke. I think he said Thursday. So.
It's usually Thursday at
I
9.
could tell you in like 20 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, while you're looking that up, moving on to resolution 2023-10-01. You guys have it in your packet.
So this is a resolution, so basically, I know we were talking about Benedictine earlier, but this is a resolution, so their actual, nursing home side of it, they are refinancing their lease, or their, one of their bonds, and because we, technically own that building and they lease it from us, we have to sign off that it's okay that they update that. I did send this to our attorneys to review too, just so everybody knows.
So I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay. I had a motion from Casey,
Second.
a second from Scott Erickson. Any questions for Ashley on this? Casey, your motion was
To approve.
in lieu of reading the
Yes.
16 pages, right?
Yes.
Excuse me, it's 8.
Thank you for clarifying.
I
that.
think it's okay. Resolution number 2023-10-01 by roll call vote. Scott Erickson,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Casey.
Aye.
Resolution 2023-10-01 passes. Department updates, Public Works. Let's talk about transformers.
Alright, I sent you guys that email from Brian and the bids that were in it.
You want to just briefly explain what it is?
Should I just read his email?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian's email to the council, well, first Public Works Committee, Ashley, and then the council was, we need a bigger transformer for the new highway department building. The existing transformer is a 150 kVA transformer, and the one we need is a 225 kVA transformer. We thought that we had the right one in stock, but the voltage was wrong, so we need to order this one. The quote from TNR Electric is the one we want to go with. It is the lowest price, but is also the transformer company that we use. The price is in the amount of $13,459. We have money in our electrical capital outlay budget. the lead time to get this is 28 to 30 weeks. So it will come out of next year's budget. Unless they get it done before the end of the year, we have around $25,000 left in this year's budget we can use if we receive the transformer before the end of the year.
Yep, so we have a specific transformer budget in our electrical budget. We budget 50,000 every year for it. Like you mentioned, we have 25,000 left. If we don't use it this year and we use it next year, unless we're change it drastically in December at our final budget meeting, we budgeted 50 grand for next year as well.
So, question, from one of the council members that isn't here, that 25 grand rolls over to next year? It does
No.
not. So then, my suggestion would be, can we just write a check this year to the company?
Can I ask?
Yep.
I mean, we do a lot with border states, so I don't know why, I mean, I'm thinking we work
I
with
have a feeling they're gonna be pretty
rep
flexible
there,
on
I
that.
think Dana would give us a bill. So,
December 31st.
yeah.
I'd like to make the motion to go ahead and approve the TNR bid.
Okay, I got a motion from Casey and Scott, was that you?
Eric. Nope.
Oh, Eric, okay, I got a motion from Casey and a second from Eric. Again, with the hope that we can just write a check this year and use it out of this year's budget, so we don't tap into next year's budget on January 1st. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
If I
Motion-
can't, is it still approved?
Yes.
Okay,
Everyone's still okay with that?
okay.
All right, anything else from Public Works, Casey?
No, pretty quiet. Winterizing and the ponds actually brought up kind of the main deals.
Okay, Public Safety?
I think it was pretty quiet with this. Steve did talk about Project Lifesaver. I think they're looking with work with the sheriff's office and Twin Valley PD and to look into seems like a life alert for those with children with autism or elderly, or to help locate them if they're to get lost or run off, that they'd be able to locate them faster.
Just more to add to the public safety, I'm meeting with Essentia, and their providers and their director last week, and they wanted myself to know and our council to know and the city to know that the relationship between them, has improved tremendously in the last 6 months. They feel very supported by our police department, there's been a lot of things that are happening with mental illness and things like that, and so, I just wanna, I guess, give kudos to our police department for doing their job and working well with them.
Okay, EDA, we did not meet, and beautification. Josh is gone, Mike's gone, Pat, you were there.
I was not here.
Pat was not there.
Last month, so,
So we'll get an update from Eric next month.
There we go.
I wasn't there either.
Yeah. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, motion from Casey,
Second.
second from Eric, all in favor?
But
All opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Okay, Preston, I guess I can't run from